Questlove Show is a production of iHeartRadio. Okay, good people. Welcome to the Questlove Show. I am Questlove, your host. So for 19 seasons strong on the Emmy-nominated Top Chef and the Excellent Taste Nation, our guest today has basically changed the culture and the conversation around food. She is a host, a producer, an author, an activist. She is Time 100's most influential people, and she reframes the American food as an immigrant story. As the creator and host of a brand new show, an excellent show called America's Culinary Cup. She raises culinary competition to new heights. I'm very jealous of that kitchen set, by the way. Beyond the screen, she's a New York Times best-selling author, cultural bridge builder, and a person who understands that food encompasses memory, migration, and politics. Welcome to the Questlove Show, Padma Lakshmi, my good friend. I'm acting like we don't know each other.
It's weird. Yeah. Well, it's weird to hear you say all that stuff, but thank you. Well, and yes, we are friends. We are dear old friends.
Sometimes your friends also have to ring your bell to remind you that, you're the shit. So
thank you.
Thank you. So I'm going to do a mixture of rapid fire questions because I feel like we know of you, but we don't know you per se. So my first question to you is, what is the first thing that you did this morning?
The first thing I did this morning was try on some leather pants because I needed them for later tonight for a party and I haven't had time to figure out what I'm wearing.
Okay.
Yeah, and I got up earlier than I wanted to, but not early enough to go to the gym before Pilates. So I just decided I would have a little fitting with myself.
What time do you normally wake up in the morning?
About 7:30.
Okay.
And so this morning I woke up at, I want to say 6:30.
I was going to ask, what time do you go to sleep?
Sometimes I'd like to go to sleep earlier, but often I am only going to sleep about 12:30 or 1 a.m.
And you still get up at 7?
7:30.
Okay, so I'm probably not going to ask a lot of beauty routine questions, but I'm certain that people will kill me if I don't, because you're this stunning figure in the world, and people, I would naturally assume that you get 10 to 12 hours of sleep or whatever, but you just...
I would like
to. You basically just wake up like this every day?
Well, I had hair and makeup today, but you've seen me when I haven't. You've seen me in every state possible.
You still look like this, Padma.
Thank you. I do like more sleep, and I would like to. I can sleep late, but I can't go to sleep early. I am a night owl by nature. I always have been since I was a little kid.
Right.
And I keep trying to go to sleep earlier so I do get more sleep. Because I do like to have a good 8-hour sleep. I just don't get it done.
Got you. Same. Also same. What is your most treasured childhood memory? Like before 10? What's a fuzzy memory from your childhood?
My most treasured memories from childhood are of skating in New York City. Mm-hmm. And I'm talking about quads, not blades. And when I was little, I was a latchkey kid, and my mom worked as a nurse at Sloan Kettering, and I would skate up and down East End Avenue. And I know all the avenues. For instance, Lexington Avenue is really steep.
Right.
So do not skate down Lexington Avenue.
You found out the hard way?
Yes, I did. In fact, I still have really, really bad drunk girl legs because of my roller skating as a child.
Okay.
But I loved it. I think kids who grow up in the city are really sophisticated and self-reliant. Uh-huh. And I know a lot of people are afraid to raise a family in the city, but I was raised by a single mom here. I'm raising my daughter here. And I loved having that sense of freedom and mobility at a very young age.
What part of New York did you grow up in?
I grew up in Queens, in Elmhurst.
Okay.
And then I also grew up on the Upper East Side because at that time, Sloan Kettering had subsidized housing for their staff. So if you made it, she was just a nurse, we lived in Queens. She made it to head nurse, we moved into the city.
Okay. I'm going to ask a question only because you mentioned Queens. And shout out to my friend Money Grip Manera. I'm asking this for you. Of the 5 boroughs, would you say that Queens is the better food epicenter? Will you get trouble in expressing a preference for a borough of culinary choice?
No, but I also will say that this opinion is based on the fact that I know Queens much better than I know the Bronx. And by the way, I have to be honest and come clean and say, my knowledge of Queens is also from way back when. So I don't know what it is now, but, I have a very dear friend who teaches a class at NYU. He's a great writer named Suketu Mehta. And he took me on a food tour recently of Queens. And I tried literally 10 different ethnicities in one afternoon. And so he would know. And I think Queens is still the most ethnically diverse. But I think, anywhere you grow up in this city, I don't know what Staten Island is like, but, anywhere you grow up, you're going to be bumping up next to a lot of cultures. And I think that's the beauty of living in New York.
Yeah, when I first got interested in the culinary world, of course, I went straight to, everyone is blinded by Michelin this and James Beard that. And then Bourdain kind of pulled me to the side and was like, okay, don't get caught up, like, search for, act like it's, he put it in a way where I understood it, where he's like, when I go record shopping, I'm looking for the most obscure record that nobody, like, don't buy the album that everyone has. Like, Whitney Houston's over there, but also know that over here is, Galt McDermott or some obscure. So he told me to look out for that. So I've taken a few tours of Queens, and I'm still discovering it. I don't know it like I should. I will say, though, for the Bronx, though, the Bronx has the best food for after 11 p.m.
Oh, yeah, they do.
The best fish sandwiches, the best seafood, the size of my arm.
Jamaican food, Trini food,
exactly.
All that stuff.
There's a 24-hour Jamaican spot in Queens right now that I went there, and it's a problem. I'm glad it's in Queens, so, because
But, even in Manhattan, if you're driving around Manhattan, you ever see a black food truck called Jamrock Jerk, please stop.
Really?
Those guys are my friends.
Okay.
I want to give them a little love.
Jamrock Jerk.
They're great. They're a nice young Jamaican couple who were the first ones to get a license by the city to actually have an open grill and a drum like Jerk is done.
Got it.
And so they drive that around, and now their business, I've seen their business bloom only because of how many of their trucks I see around. So they're clearly doing well.
So they're the Mr. Softy of
I think so.
Jamaican food? All right.
I think so. I haven't talked to them
Jamrock
in a bit. Yeah, Jamrock Jerk.
All right. I'm investigating that. Do you collect anything? What do you collect?
Jewelry.
Okay.
Art. I
Jewelry as in real jewelry or like crystals or like...
No, not crystals. My daughter collects crystals. Okay. But no, I don't really. I collect jewelry happily, but it's not something I go out and seek. But I used to have a jewelry company years ago, like a fine jewelry company. And so I'm very interested in different movements and periods of jewelry. It's not something people know about me these days too much.
Got it.
But I can spot from what period a Cartier piece is based on how it looks like. Is it a Shinde period? Is it another period? So...
okay.
So I love that, but that's also a very rarefied thing. That's not something I'm doing every day. I like to think I collect people. That's what I'm most interested in now.
Okay.
Every time, I do a big project or something and I have a little chunk of change, I will buy myself a piece of art.
Right.
And, now I don't have any wall space, and I'm not a...
You definitely don't.
No, and I'm not an investor, so I'm not buying art to make a profit and then put it in storage.
Right.
That's not me. But I do like to collect people. My most coveted activity is to bring a room of 6, 10, 50, 60 people together who I think are interesting and may not know each other from totally different walks of life and put them in a room and see what happens, just to facilitate that, mostly because I'm a really curious person and I think I've always been a lifelong learner, so I'm always trying to learn. And the best way to learn is to find the most interesting, knowledgeable people and try to squeeze all the info out of them.
Yeah, I got to say, I'm one of the lucky recipients of your Diwali celebration invitations, and I love the idea of having a live band in the living room, and now I consider, this is like maybe the third or fourth one I went to, so now I know these people.
You know the deal, yeah.
Yeah. So I love doing those parties. So in your formative years, who was the best cook in your family?
My grandma.
Okay.
My grandma. And my grandma was not a cuddly person. You know, when
Mm-hmm.
you think of a sweet grandma baking cookies
Granny,
and stuff.
right now.
That's not an Indian grandma. That wasn't my Indian grandma, let me say that. She was a very practical woman. She came from a family of 17 children. She was one of the oldest, so she had to take care of a lot of her younger siblings.
Oh.
And there were 8 or 10 people living in my grandparents' house at any time in a 2-room flat in South India in Chennai. And she only had 2 burners, 2 stove burners. And she didn't really get a fridge until her 30s. So she didn't know what to do with it. And she just really used it for ice water because it's hot in South India.
Right.
So she was cooking all the time. And so I learned really at her side. I also learned a lot about life that way because, like I said, she was super practical.
Mm-hmm. Wow. I'm still trying to figure out the food preservation part of no refrigerator in the house. But
Well, everything gets eaten.
Ah.
There is no preservation needed. And also, it's a vegetarian household. So you're not worried about meat spoiling.
Okay.
But it's so hot there, and we certainly didn't have air conditioning. We only got air conditioning in one room when I brought my ex-husband there as an adult. I was like, I don't think he's going to be able to deal with this. So I put air conditioning in one of the, in the back room that wasn't my grandparents' room. But so, things do spoil still because of the heat. But like I said, nothing lasted that long enough.
Got you. Okay, so from 1 to 10, how do you rate your culinary skills? 1 to 10?
I know too much. I know too much about what I don't know. So I would say a 7.
Okay, so from 1 to 10, how would your daughter rate your culinary skills?
An 8.5. She's hard.
She loves you.
She's tough.
But she gives you a higher rating than you would give you a higher rating.
Yeah, because she doesn't know enough to give me a lower rating.
I got that. All right.
She would give me a 0 in singing capability, though.
Oh, I'm going to ask about glitter. You know I'm going to ask about glitter. What snack is your kryptonite? You know you're going to pay for it in the gym if you take it, but you do it anyway. What snack is your kryptonite?
A lot of snacks. Spiced cashews, masala cashews, or chips, potato chips. That's a tough one, especially the jalapeno potato chips from Cape Cod. I can take down a whole bag, a big bag, without blinking.
I didn't realize how strong the potato chip addiction was. In the Roots thread, around January, we start, everyone starts the conversation of like, okay, what you're going to clean up or whatever. And the challenge, like for people, the challenge was no more potato chips. And I didn't realize how much I eat them until I went to the Tonight Show. Like it's almost like breathing because they're everywhere.
Oh, I know. It's a nightmare. It's like you can't get away from it. I mean, I'm looking forward to my daughter going to college because then I can get rid of a lot of
So she brings the
stuff.
snacks in and...
Well, I mean, I want my daughter to be able to eat all kinds of foods. I don't want her body not to know what it's like to process a variety of things all the way on one end of the spectrum.
So I want to know what's the worst thing in your fridge right now? Lunchables?
No, hell no.
Hey, don't,
No. I mean, the worst thing in my fridge right now is probably protein shakes because that's not real food.
All right.
But it's a necessary evil for me because I just don't get enough protein.
Got it. Okay.
But I mean, I want her to enjoy and be able to process her body, able to process everything from Taco Bell, which she eats too often, all the way to nothing but fruits and vegetables. But
well, she's also a teenager, so
exactly.
Eventually, once
she'll straighten
sophistication comes in and that stuff, and she'll.
But we make it a point to eat 50% fruits and vegetables on every plate if I'm cooking or she's eating at home.
Okay.
So I just want to make sure she gets enough nutrition and healthy food and all that. Then I just want her to be a regular teenager. But when she leaves, all that stuff is going to go. But the other addiction I have, which is really bad, is dark chocolate.
Really?
Yeah. Like
I want to get into it so bad, but to me, it's still like I'd rather have the unhealthy chocolate. But what is it about dark chocolate that the fact that we can have much more of it and not pay for it?
I mean, there have been weeks where 4 or 5 nights out of 7, I have finished a whole Hue chocolate bar, the salty one or the crunchy mint one.
Okay.
And I have a little dorm fridge in my bedroom.
The fridge you're not supposed to have with the snacks
Exactly,
in it? Right.
tucked into,
Yeah.
a little closet.
Yeah.
And I went to the Tin Building and Jean-Georges gave me a tour. And they've got this obnoxiously beautiful candy store in there.
Mm-hmm.
And he just loaded me up with all this chocolate because he knows. And so now I am armed to the teeth with my own vice.
I have a question about food rules. Okay, so twice in my life I've been ridiculed. Very serious, not even ridiculed. Like
only twice?
Well, yeah, no one messes with me. No, but I didn't know Chicago's relationship with ketchup.
I don't. What is the ketchup relationship?
Okay, so I have a theory about it. No one's verified it, but like you get no respect in Chicago if you put ketchup on your hot dog.
Oh, yes, I know about this. Jimmy asked me about this.
And they kick you out. And they kick you out of it. I got kicked out of an establishment once because I wanted to see what would happen. And I pulled out my pack, and they were like, you got to go. Like, seriously. My theory is that because the Heinz family's in Pittsburgh.
Oh, that it's some kind of
And there's some
beef?
rival. Yes, between, I also know that the various businesses that Chicago Gangster, the biggest one of them all.
Al Capone?
Yes. That Capone had. Some were food establishments as well. I know that there was a point in the 40s, I believe, like some Heinz products couldn't even get into certain establishments.
Oh,
but in general, now it's just like yick. The other one, of course.
What do they put on their hot dog? Anything?
Anything, but no ketchup is allowed on a hot dog. Okay. Like just mustard, relish, onions, but it's a cardinal, like an absolute sin to put ketchup on a hot dog.
I also think it's because there are a lot of Polish immigrants that settled in Chicago, and so sausage is really big in Chicago. So they might think of hot dogs as sort of a, descendant of the sausage, and no one wants to put ketchup on an actual kielbasa.
Got it. Okay. I will, though. Anyway, the other thing, of course, is with Black Twitter, some people have revealed that they'll take their grits also with butter and sugar. Now, the way you just scouted me.
It's not the butter, it's the sugar.
Okay, so listen. Have you ever had cream of wheat?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. I mean,
look, I'm not a big oatmeal fan, but people put maple syrup on that. So I guess the sugar is a version of a sweetener like a syrup.
Right.
So I can get with that, but no Southern person.
Look, 95% of the time I will eat grits savory as they should be. Mm-hmm. But sometimes I'll have I'm not a steel cut oatmeal fan, but if there's a grit option, I will somehow program my brain to, I'll make this like cream of wheat. But my whole thing was, is there a food rule that you've abided by that you also break? Like, is there another tradition that's not supposed to happen?
I mean, I'm not that steadfast with rules like that.
Okay.
I don't generally have sweet breakfasts unless I'm having like a big bowl of yogurt, which is some maple syrup and cinnamon.
Got it.
My breakfasts tend to be very minimal or savory.
Got you.
Like even cottage cheese to me is a savory thing.
I always thought it was savory.
Some people put weird stuff in it, like pineapple. And I put pomegranate seeds on it, but I still think it's savory.
I got to try that.
Yeah,
I never tried that. What is the most idiot-proof meal that a person can make and never lose? Like, even the worst chef in the world can make this and absolutely.
I mean, I think everybody should be able to scramble some eggs and make some toast.
Got it. Okay, so that's a basic 101 level.
Yeah, I had a rule when Krishna was young that I wasn't going to be a short order cook. Uh-huh. So whatever I made for dinner, that's what was for dinner. If she didn't want to eat that, she could either have leftovers if there were any, or she could have a scrambled egg wrapped in a tortilla with some raw veggies like celery, bell peppers, carrots, whatever. Mm-hmm. Because that way at least she would get some protein, some veggies, and some starch.
Got it.
And even she could make that as of about, 10.
Can she cook?
She can cook.
Okay. All right. So for those that are in the if you've seen one competition show, you've seen them all. Back sell me on not the difference between Top Chef and America's Culinary Cup, but what is it that we will see on this show that we didn't see on Top Chef?
Well, I want to say first, I am not comparing this show. I know everyone naturally will because I used to host that other show. I don't see my competition as my old house. I see my competition as every other food show, every other competition show.
Got it.
From Gordon Ramsay to whoever's on the Food Network to Netflix and stuff. So that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking more globally. But I'll tell you the big difference. There's a few. One is the $1 million.
Okay.
That's a big difference. That's double what has been on any food show ever. I think there's one food show that's offering $500,000 on Netflix. I don't remember the name of the show, but this is more than any other prize in culinary competition history. So that's it, $1 million. The other thing is we do not have a format. There's no levels that you rise to. There's no mystery box of ingredients.
Right.
There's no, first we're doing a little thing, then we're doing a big thing. There's none of that. Our show is governed by 10 culinary commandments that we think are essential to master in order to be a world-class chef. And every week we test for one of those principles of cooking. And whatever is the best way to test for that principle or culinary commandment, that's what we do. So, in one show, there could be one long challenge. In another show, there could be two. In a third episode, there could be a series of small ones. So it's always different every time.
So when you speak of the commandments, is this a Bible that you guys have written, or is this a general culinary world? These are the general principles of what we abide by for what food should be.
When I was developing the show, because I am not a chef, I'm a food writer. Right. I took a lot of counsel and guidance and actively sought out people I really admire, like Danielle, like Jean-Georges, like Eric Ripert, a lot of people, a lot of women too. And I asked them what they think the most important qualities are. And, there are a couple that it's hard to test for in the confines of a game like this. For instance, leadership.
Got it.
Leadership is really hard because they're competing against each other. But there are universal things that you need to master, like mastering the art of meat, both butchering it and cooking it. And understanding what the cuts are, how to portion them so they're even size and weight. It's a lot. And then there's, mastery of vegetable cookery. Then there's innovation, science and technology. There's consistency. There's sustainability, because your food costs, never mind the planet and the environment, your food costs are gravely affected by how sustainable your business is. So things like that.
Like in film, I know what I want to see editing-wise, but I don't have to learn how to edit. It'd be wise if I knew how to edit or do my lights or sound or do everything. But, is that required? Like, is Daniel Hume, required to know every aspect of the levels of his kitchen, from prepping and cooking and is that required to head a kitchen, to know all levels of production?
I don't think what I'm about to say is germane only to being a chef or to a professional kitchen. It is my belief that while you may not need to know every granular detail of every aspect of the job, you will be a better leader if you know what you're talking about and you can at least communicate what you want. And I think the best leaders of any ship are the ones who thoroughly can articulate their vision.
Got it.
People want to know how to deliver the best. And if you're clear with them, for instance, when I created Taste the Nation or even America's Culinary Cup, I don't know what lens to use on that camera, right? When they're saying, give me a 60, give me a 200, I don't know what that means.
Right.
But my next goal before I create any other show
is
to go and shadow my DP somewhere, just put on my sneakers and baseball cap, disappear behind him and learn that, because then I can effectuate the result I want.
Got it.
So that will take me a long time. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand. Like what I did with America's Culinary Cup is that I hired the best people I could, but I only hired like the head of the departments.
Got you.
And then I let them hire everyone working under them because they know. But when I hired them, I made sure they knew what I was looking for. And that was the most clear in the culinary department. We have a great culinary producer named Mary. She worked under Joel Robuchon for a long time. She also went to UC Berkeley. She's very learned and skilled and as persnickety as I am. And she did that work. I did not do that work. But then I checked her work, and I went through that pantry like a fine-tooth comb.
So you're micromanaged Smurf?
I like to think of myself as detail-oriented.
Okay, I'll see.
I'm a classic Virgo, if there ever was one.
Okay.
But, the same with my set designer. My set designer is a very, very...
I'm very impressed with that set.
Thank you.
First of all, is that a real place?
Yes.
Okay, so where...
No, it's not a real place. We built it in a warehouse.
Yeah, but
it's meant to look like a real place.
I'm on year 6 of building my farm, and yet I was like, did you just build this within seconds? And
I mean, not seconds, but here's the thing. Again,
and does it break down
It breaks down. It's now in storage in big pieces. But let me tell you, the set is the thing that I paid the most attention to. Here's why. I was trying to refresh the genre. I knew I was going to get compared to all these other shows out there, whether I had hosted them or not. And I have a lot of fully formed opinions, having done this for so many years. I did not want that set to look like a TV set. I didn't want that set to look like a Shiny Floor game show or even any other culinary show you've seen. And most sets are either proscenium stage or rectilinear.
Yes.
Most kitchens are.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of research that shows that people are more focused and more creative in non-rectilinear spaces. And that's why they're always encouraging writers to get out in nature, because rounder, softer spaces create, an environment where your brain has to just think differently for whatever reason. And so I wanted something that felt like an arena, but most importantly, felt like an actual high-end kitchen. So that is my kitchen on that show is no different than the kitchen that you would see if you walked into French Laundry or Jean-Georges or Daniel Hum's kitchen. It's bigger, it's a lot bigger, and it's oval. There are no corners in the ACC kitchen. And so that was very purposeful. Another thing that I did is I didn't want, what it looks like. You spend a lot of time at Rock Center. So there's no neon lights. There's no, velvet walls and jewel tones. There's no tchotchkes on the walls, because I want these chefs to have a pristine and high-end focused laboratory. That's why it's specifically very minimal. It almost looks Japanese in a way.
But white was also a risky choice, because
I know.
If you're making food, then... But it looks... Everything you said, I'm glad you said. I'm glad I asked this question, because even when I was watching it, I was like, I can't pinpoint it, but there's something really engaging and hypnotic about this set that it has me watching and studying every detail of it.
Well, because...
Even the supermarket you guys built.
Because I didn't want there to be anything to distract our chefs. I wanted a culinary cathedral. I did.
You built it.
And I wanted the highest end restaurant grade equipment. I mean, that kitchen has more combi ovens, blast chillers, salamanders, anything you could want. And it has enough for everybody. So, on other game shows or other food shows, you see the chefs competing to get some equipment, and someone always winds up with a bum oven or whatever.
Right.
And I didn't want that. So every chef has a 6-foot by 3-foot counter. Every chef has 6 burners and an oven and place to put all the equipment that they use the most. all of it.
Okay, so I don't know how it is on other shows, but I was wondering, did you have it spaced out so much so that there is no possibility of a sabotage situation? I mean, I didn't know how deep in the competition level but an amateur like me would automatically think like, put vinegar inside there, vanilla extract or whatever.
Yeah, but I don't think first of all, we have about 25 cameras running, so you would be a fool to do that, let alone do it on national television.
Tell that to Tanya Harding.
Right.
Yeah,
no, I feel
anything
you.
can happen.
Yeah.
So.
But, what I wanted, I don't think the chefs that we have on our show would want to win because they sabotage anyone. They have too much honor and pride in their own work. So I wanted to see, you say you're the best? All right, come to this arena. Let me give you every toy, every ingredient, every piece of weaponry you need to create at the highest level.
Gotcha.
And, if you're going to ask Venus Williams to come play at Wimbledon, are you going to give her a crappy racket?
No, you're not.
You're going to manicure that court and make sure it's great, because that's what a goat like that deserves.
Got you.
And I wanted to treat our chefs exactly the same.
Now, we're professionals, and once you get to a certain level, a certain plateau, there's comfort, and then you change your lifestyle, and then next thing you know, safety is your thing. How hard was it leaving such an institution like Top Chef, in which you were 19 seasons strong? I mean, yeah, the Susan Lucci of it all with the Emmy nominations.
Yeah.
But to knock that Jenga down and start all over again, if you can talk about the straw that broke the camel's back in terms of you wanting to pivot and start all over again and rebuild.
I can't talk about the straw that broke the camel's back, but I will
Or the
say,
feeling after, the day after you finalized it. What did you feel the day after?
It was very scary.
Okay.
It was. I'm not going to lie. It was very vulnerable making to leave a house that I helped build and a legacy that I'm very proud of. And by the way, 97% of the people on stage I really love and consider family on Top Chef. And I'm still rooting for them, And I didn't knock that Jenga down. Kristen Kish, who is someone I've known for 10 years,
right.
Took my place. And I thought that was
Gotcha.
a great way to leave. I wanted to leave for a while, and there were many reasons that had to do with my leaving. So it was not a rash decision. It was still a scary decision. And, one day I'll be able to talk about all the reasons, but I do think I was ready for a new intellectual challenge. Everything I had wanted to do or been able to do on that show, given the confines of how it was created and formed.
You never had the final word there? Whereas here...
here...
You have a stronger suggestion there, maybe, but...
Yeah, I was an executive producer, and
right.
yes, but I didn't create that show.
Got you.
I was involved in the development, but I didn't even do it first season, if we remember. This is different. This is really a brainchild of all of the experience that I've gained over my career. And so it's just a different animal. We're not looking to throw obstacles in the chef's way. We're not looking to have them use retail ingredients that, people use in their homes. We're not making them fight for any, you know what I mean?
Got
It's just like the ethos of our show, I believe, is different, is completely opposing most culinary shows.
Gotcha.
Most culinary shows are trying to trip them up. I'm not. I'm trying to support these people who I really believe are scientists and artists and journeymen also, because we forget, but cooking is manual labor at the end of the day. It has to do with endurance, and it's a physical job, not only from your senses and your palate, but just like without ruining anything, you will see that in the second episode, it is difficult physically for some of the people to do what we're asking them because of their brute strength.
Got you. So, okay, in competition shows and some reality shows, being the bad guy, the difficult person is required for success. How uncomfortable is it, air quote, breaking hearts or delivering bad news, sending someone home? Like how do you not get your heart involved? because even with this show, like I'm already interested in, the woman who gave up her wedding to be here.
I know.
Which at first, when she first said that, I was like, that's slyly manipulative because I'm going to be invested in the story. Like, she gave up her wedding day for this.
I didn't know that until after she
you
got
saw the
on
cut?
set. Yeah, because also I approved a large pool of contestants that was about 60 or 80 people.
Right.
We had a casting director. You could only come by invitation to our competition. You could not apply.
Got you.
By invitation only. So when they're getting those golden envelopes at the beginning, they're really getting notified.
Okay.
But I picked a large pool. I chucked some people out that she thought might be good. I added some people that she thought may not, hadn't thought of necessarily. And after I picked that pool, I stepped away. My producers, my showrunner, my producing partner, Susan Rovner, and my very skilled CBS executives who have also been in charge of, other big shows. There was a group of people that came together and picked the final 16 contestants. I did not know who made that cut until I got in the kitchen on the first day. I didn't want to know. I gave them very, very, specific parameters. I want diversity. I want as many women as there are men. I want to make sure they're coming from all parts of America. So it really is America's Culinary Cup, not just Coastal Cup, But I didn't want to know.
Do shows of this nature make people better cooks necessarily, or is this more or less a test of how do you solve problems with the clock running out?
It's both.
Okay.
It's really both because, you have to, of course, be a great cook and a great chef and think on your feet and be able to see ahead to not only what you can accomplish, but what you can accomplish within the parameters of that time frame. But it's also a show that really, really has to do with strategy. It's a lot of strategy. And in that way, it is and it isn't like being a real chef, because you have more time to think about things and you can hire the people you want. But in this show, other than certain times when we're asking you to work in pairs, it's just too much for one person to do, you're really on your own. Most chefs walk in, they've got their whole mise en place already done for them. They've got everything chopped. One guy's a saucier, another guy's working the grill, another woman is doing the garde-manger, right? Here, you are doing everything yourself. And a lot of these chefs nowadays don't do that for themselves. Especially that came clear when we saw the Mastering the Art of Meat. Because a lot of these chefs who are younger, they don't know how to break down a whole animal because they haven't had to do it. They're just getting cuts that are already parsed out.
Oh, God, see, you got to... okay. Isn't there a sort of squeamish level of... or do you just have to work through that as a chef?
I mean... there was for me just observing it because I grew up a vegetarian.
Okay.
But it is, if you are going to serve meat, you should know where it comes from. And you should be prepared to look at that with clear, open eyes.
Got you.
Otherwise, you shouldn't be serving meat,
I got it. Okay. So when I entered the food space, around 2009, 2010, the one thing that I wasn't aware of when going to these various restaurants was I don't see any women heading up. I rarely see chefs. And once I had started interviewing and investigating, a lot of it was when you choose this world, this comes first. Like the way Daniel told me that 11 Madison is run. It's a 24-hour operation.
Yeah.
After the last person leaves at 1, then they got to clean up, prepare for the next day. And that doesn't allow you to be a parent or a partner, that sort of thing. So has much changed? Have we made, even if it's slow as molasses strides, now that we're in 2026? Or is there still...
There's still a lot to be done.
Okay.
And I believe that both women and men should be present for their children. So, a lot of that work, domestic work, has often fallen on the shoulders of women, regardless of whatever profession we're talking about. There is no industry, save for maybe the military, that is more male-dominated than the restaurant industry.
That's so weird because when we grow up, mom's supposed to do her
That's
thing.
right.
Mom's,
I
don't trust Dad.
most of the food in the world is made by women.
Right.
Most of the money from professionally selling food is made by men. But, I mean, this is a whole nother tangent, but it's not just the food industry, it's just patriarchy in general.
Right.
But there are also a lot of reasons that, you're on your feet. Again, it's manual labor. The hours are terrible. You're never home for lunch or dinner.
Right.
Right? But there are chefs who are designing schedules for their kitchen staff and for themselves that are much more humane and much fairer. A lot of them. Like I know at once Cosme even had an all-female kitchen. And they were able to do it. I know that a few years back, Danny Meyer gave maternity leave or, parental leave.
Right.
And so there are people who are trying to better the system, and it will continue to be better and more equitable when more women land in positions of power. Because not only do you not see a lot of women up there, you don't see a lot of black and brown folk up there. You don't.
Which...
It's crazy because...
That's what built this country.
Also.
Yeah.
But when you open the door to the back of the house, the kitchen, all the faces you see are black and brown faces.
Right.
But then when you get to the head chef, the executive chef, all of a sudden, it's a white dude.
Right. Got you. All right. We're going to do rapid fire before I let you go. Best pizza in New York?
Stretch.
Stretch? Where's that?
That Stretch is on Park and 24th. It is Wiley Dufresne's pizzeria.
Is it molecular pizza or just...
It's just yummy.
Okay.
Go try it. But there's lots of good pizza. There's Una Pizza Napoletana down, in the Lower East Side.
Got you.
I happen to like a group of restaurants that are called Gruppo, Vezzo, Spunto.
It has to have an O at the end of it?
I guess so.
Okay.
They're cute. They're like brick lined. You can get beer and wine there. And that is if like a Roman pizza and a New York slice had a baby. And so that's pretty good too.
Okay. Do you sleep in silence or do you have to have music or TV or something on in the background?
I sleep with a podcast.
What do you listen to?
Hidden Brain.
Okay. Well,
And I often
listen to audiobooks.
Yeah, same principle. I will listen to audiobooks too. There's a great book that's based on Jungian dream theory. It's not by Carl Jung, but it's by doctors who practice that, called Dreamwise. It was recommended to me by a friend of mine named Chani, and that I enjoyed. But what's great about falling asleep to stuff is that I will listen to one episode 6 times because I fall asleep,
Right.
And I mean, I'm friends with Ira Glass, and he says he hates when people tell him that they listen to This American
fall
Life.
asleep.
Well, because he's like, that's not a compliment,
Right,
which I
right.
totally get. But, I'm a learner, so I love, and I'm also a very auditory person, more than a visual person. I'm an
Right.
auditory person, so I learn that way, and I love books on tape. I love, podcasts and all that stuff. Yeah.
Got you. All right. So what establishment are you slightly embarrassed to admit that you frequent? For Valentine's Day, White Castle is very hard to get into.
Really?
Oh, they transform it into a Michelin level, like step and repeat, sexy lighting. They come and serve you like once a year. White Castle goes all out. You can't get, like I had to go up in the Bronx to take a date there. No, it's a real thing.
That's kind of sweet. I love that. That makes me like White Castle.
Well, they
even
did it
more.
as the irony thing, but then it
Okay.
became popular. So what establishment are you?
It sounds like you're asking me about what my guilty pleasure is, and
Yeah.
I don't feel any guilt in taking pleasure in any area of
So
my
you're in the
life.
zero fucks stage of your life right now?
I am. It feels really good, too.
Okay. What is the greatest cereal of all time?
Golden Grams.
Smart. Damn, Padma. I hardly knew you. What's the one occurrence in your life that changed everything? What's the moment that was a paradigm shift of your life?
When I gave birth to Krishna. It helped me so much as a human being and also in my career.
Yes.
Because all of a sudden I was much more productive and I stopped navel gazing and, I was able to make decisions really quick and I was very decisive and everybody around me benefited from
Sharp
that.
focus and all that. Okay. Japanese restaurants are my litmus test for people. I can learn everything I want to know about a person. I can find out in 45 minutes of how Do you use food as a means to find out who your personal circle will be?
No.
So if you go to dinner and someone asks for ketchup to put on their Wagyu steak, you're not being like, I'm not, you're not.
Not at all. I mean, one of the people that I was really in love with, it didn't work out. It was a person who had the eating habits of a 6-year-old. And it was very...
Oh, with the... Yo, that's a game changer, yo.
It was very hard. It really was. And, everybody would be like, I can't believe you're with this person and you are eating, this 4 times a week. But he didn't have a very good sense of smell, and so that affects your tastes a lot. And but there were other redeeming qualities that made him a genius.
Okay. What year do you have the most fondest memories of? Like, what is when you think of 19 da 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 or 2000 da 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 da? Like, what is the I missed that time?
1997.
That was the year?
Yeah, I mean, I started my television career in Italy, co-hosting a live show with no 5-second tape delay. And I was on that show for half a season. And then an agent cast me or asked me to be part of a cast of a mini-series that was shooting in Cuba. And then I went to Cuba and I spent 4 months in Cuba. That was my first film as an actor. And it was the best 4 months of my life. I loved Cuba.
Same. I love it to death. All right. This is the last 2 questions I have for you. All right. You were in Glitter.
I knew I wasn't going to. We have hung out so many times. Why are you waiting for this moment on tape? When I tell you,
I waited so long. I wanted to ask you that first. No, because I have a different relationship with Glitter only because, it came out 9/11.
Yeah.
And there was only 2 movies to watch. Blue Steel. There was Zoolander and Glitter.
Yeah.
So I remember one day I just hung out at the movie theater and seen both films like twice in a row because there was nothing to do. And when you started singing, that took guts though. Like,
they asked me to sing badly. I tried to sing as badly as I could.
Is that your real voice?
I mean, it's my voice when I'm trying to sing badly. I'm not, again.
Can you sing?
I used to be in choir, but I really can't sing. I can't sing because I think also I used to be able to sing, but somewhere around there, the 90s really fucked my voice up. We don't have time in this PG show to go through why, but yeah.
Okay.
Let me just say, I was a model in the 90s in Milan and Paris.
I already know what you're going. All right, my last question. What is the best compliment you've ever received?
That I'm the funniest person in the room.
Actually, you are.
Thank you.
You are. A lot of people are you're the greatest wingman I have.
Oh, yay. That makes me happy.
No, I'm dead serious. There's maybe 3 people that other people are really impressed that I know. You came to my very first game night very late. And when you walked in, the amount of times my phone started buzzing, like, holy shit, you know her? Like, literally, it's,
Well, you introduced me to Taylor Swift.
Yes. Both of y'all came, but you were the star that night.
Oh, my God.
She snuck in unnoticed. You came in, and literally...
Oh, that's very kind.
Yeah, no, you're the best wingman I've ever had.
Thank you.
I thank you for doing this.
I love you so much.
I'm very happy that you are pushing forward, getting your ideas out there, trying to change the culture, trying to change how we see food as a social adhesive, and you're doing the Lord's work, and I thank you for doing this.
Thank you. Same right back at you.
Padma Lakshmi on The Questlove Show. I'll see you guys on the next go-round. Bye.
Bye.
The Questlove Show is hosted by me, Amir Questlove Thompson. The executive producers are Sean G., Brian Calhoun, and me. Produced by Brittney Benjamin and Jake Payne. Produced for iHeart by Noel Brown. Edited by Alex Conroy. iHeart Video support by Mark Canton. Logos, graphics, and animation by Nick Paloe. Additional support by Lance Coleman. Special thanks to Cathy Rong. Special thanks to Suga Steve Mandel. Please subscribe, rate, review, and share the Questlove Show wherever you stream your podcast. Make sure you follow us on socials. That's at QLS. Check out hundreds and hundreds of QLS episodes, including the Questlove Supreme shows and our podcast archives. Questlove Show is a production of iHeartRadio.